Welcome everyone to the Milltown Borough Council Candidates Forum. I am Richard Law. I'm a professor of political science at Rutgers University. I've lived in New Jersey for the past 35 years, but not nearby, but not in Milltown. And as far as I know, I don't know any, I've not met any of the candidates here, which is the rules that we're supposed to go by. So each of the candidates is going to make an opening statement. They provided us with brief bios, and we've drawn lots, and so we have an order that we're going to go in. I will read the candidate's bio, and then the candidate will have 3 minutes, I believe, to make an opening statement. And then we'll go to the next candidate in line and stuff. And if I didn't say this in the closing statements, we're going to go in the opposite order that we went in for the opening statement. So the first person to provide his opening statement is John Collins. So John has lived in Milltown for 37 years. He was a councilman in Milltown from 2006 to 2009, and then again from 2022 through now. He's a retired former budget analyst for the state of New Jersey. He's a past member of CWA, which I think is the Communication Workers.
That's correct, Rick.
Local 137. He earned a Bachelor of Science degree from New Jersey City University and an AA degree from Middlesex County College. He served as councilman for 5 different departments: Health and Environmental Services, Public Safety, Public Works, Utilities and Finance, and Administration. He was the council liaison to the Shade Tree Committee, the Board of Education, the Milltown Senior Citizens, and the Milltown Library. A 46-year member of the Milltown Rangers AC, and is the past treasurer and trustee and presently financial secretary of that organization. He was on the Milltown Board of Adjustment from 2010 through 2014. He's a member of the Board of Health for 20 years, the Milltown Pool Committee and the Recreation Committee. He was formerly a junior Pee-wee coach, and he served on the new Municipal Building Advisory Committee and the Community Betterment Committee, sorry. John.
I'd like to serve on the retirement committee. Thanks, Rick. I just want to say my name is John Collins. I've been here 37 years, and I care about Milltown, and I'm a present councilman, and I ask the tough questions here at meetings, and I don't back down. I treat the taxpayers' dollars like my own. Last week, we were looking at the budgets in the town. Here's the budget, and I picked out and found a $60,000 water deficit, and nobody said anything at the meeting, which is strange, but that happens. I'd also say I support rebates for senior utilities, and I'm very proactive for our police department, our public safety in town, because that's what keeps our town a safe community to live in, and which one we love to live here. I'd like to also re-examine some of the demand charges for our small businessmen, and I see my job here is to educate and inform the community and the residents of, how the government works, and also maybe we can find the solutions to problems. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, John. All right, our second candidate is Phil Zambrana Jr. He's long been a dedicated resident of Milltown, calling it home for the past 20 years alongside his wife and 2 daughters. His deep roots in the community are complemented by his active involvement in local government, having served on the Milltown Board of Education for 5 years and chaired its Finance and Facilities Committee for 3 years. In November of 2019, Phil was elected to the Milltown Borough Council, and he was re-elected again in November of 2022, demonstrating the community's trust in his commitment to service. Professionally, Phil is a senior manager of business finance at Sampled, a pioneering global leader in biobanking, bioprocessing, and analytics with its corporate headquarters located in Piscataway. Before joining Sample in August of 2020, he held vital financial roles at Rutgers University, notably within the Rutgers Cell and DNA Repository, the Office of Research and Sponsored Programs, and the School of Social Work, gaining extensive experience in research administration and financial management. Phil earned his degree in finance from Borough College of the City University of New York. Prior to his tenure at Rutgers, he spent over a decade working at various startup companies in the media, college sports, and Sirius radio industries, where he excelled as a financial steward, helping to shape and sustain innovative operations. Beyond his professional and civic commitments, Phil enjoys gathering with friends and family over a good meal and engaging in meaningful conversations, reflecting his personable and community-oriented nature. Determined to continue serving his community, Phil is running for Borough Council this year, again, eager to give back in every way possible and contribute to Milltown's ongoing growth and prosperity.
Thank you,
Phil.
Professor. Thank you. So good evening, friends and neighbors here at Borough Hall and those watching at home. My name is Phil Zambran. It's been my pleasure to serve you on the Borough Council over the past 5.5 years. I was elected as a councilman because I believe residents were ready for a fresh set of ideas, but also because they had faith that I could and would get things done. So I think that everyone can agree that last year was not a great year in the borough. This year has been much, much better because of the current council and their willingness to move critical projects forward for the betterment of the community. As council president, this council and I were able to move things along to keep improving the town. And there are still a few things that I want to make sure keep moving forward. And you'll hear the word forward a lot in whatever I say tonight. So I'd like to continue to push for the South Main Street Rehabilitation Plan to make our downtown more welcoming and accessible. And this was a plan that was finalized where residents and government came together to collaborate on ideas for improving the town. I want to continue to drive the modernization of our water, sewer, and electric utility metering systems so that the billing can be fair, reliable, and help save families money over time. I want to continue to champion the renewable energy products like the battery storage initiative that we finally got off the ground this year. And I want to make sure this moves forward so that it's operational by this time next year. When I became a councilman in 2020, I was lucky. I was the new guy. But I was lucky that I had seasoned council members who mentored me and shared their knowledge with me. And now I'm the old guy on council. And the proof of that is that my hair was a lot darker back then than it is now. Beyond projects, my vision focuses on people. Milltown should always be a place where neighbors look out for one another, where our small town charm is preserved, and new ideas can improve life for everyone. Our community deserves forward-looking leadership committed to making Milltown a stronger, safer, and more sustainable place for families and businesses to thrive. That is why I'm really proud to run alongside Rachel Freed, who is someone dedicated to community and developing our town to support businesses. With that support, I believe we can build on the progress we've made and shape the future this community deserves. And that way we can continue to move Milltown forward together. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. All right, our third candidate is Debbie Miller. So Debbie is a lifelong resident of Milltown. She is married to her husband Charlie for 37 years. She is an angel mom to her son, also named Charlie. Debbie is a retired licensed practical nurse she worked as for 37 years and currently works at the Milltown Public Library as a supervising library assistant. She's on the Bibliographic and Circulation Protocol Committee for the library. Debbie serves on the 4th of July Committee. She was the committee secretary for the last 2 years. She attends Milltown Council meetings, Milltown Ford Avenue Redevelopment Agency meetings, and Planning Board meetings. Debbie is also a notary public for the community. She volunteers at Milltown Veterans of Foreign Wars and has helped with the New Jersey Law Enforcement Torch Run for the past 2 years. Debbie is also a member of the Milltown Senior Citizen Center. Debbie started her community service as a child when she was a candy striper. Debbie served as a PAC 33 Scout leader, U.S. Naval Sea Cadet leader, Special Olympics volunteer, election poll worker, and Milltown Lions Club. In her spare time, she enjoys reading, working in the yard, spending time with her friends and family, and playing with her Labrador puppies, Dixie Jazz and Sassy Sadie. Debbie has decided to take her community and professional knowledge to the next step and is seeking your support to become a Milltown councilwoman. She would like to help enhance the town by working with the council and the community.
Thank you. Good evening. I grew up playing in town as some of you did and your children and grandchildren do now. I belonged to the Borough pool when it was oval shaped and you needed a badge which had to be sewn on your bathing suit. I went to Joyce Kilmer and Parkview schools. Every 8th grader looked forward to going to Washington, D.C., the banquet, and of course going to Mr. Neiman's farm. I attended my first Milltown Council meeting when I was a teenager with my dad. I had a concern I wanted to address. I felt there shouldn't be smoking in public buildings. It took a while, but it is a law now. I can remember all the great little stores on Main Street and within the town. There was Mr. Kimber's, Vans, Modern Maid, Dobie's, Carasso, Capella's Hardware Store, Riders Lane Lawnmower Shop, S&S Bakery, and more. The business district of Main Street needs improvement to keep existing stores and offer good reason for other people to invest in the town. I watched woods turn into developments and buildings turn into rubble. Some of the rubble remains and others just turned into empty spaces. Perhaps with a little encouragement, owners of empty lots would help bring charm to the town. The town needs infrastructure upgrades. I would like to help the governing body to continue on getting grants for infrastructure improvements to alleviate the burden on taxpayers. As a lifetime resident of Milltown, I attend borough meetings and heard it said, "It's not a meeting until the Millers are here." I participate in many community events. A few years ago, I helped Milltown Idea with their financial end of their grant, creating purchase orders for their performers and keeping a spreadsheet for them. I run monthly diverse themed bingos at the library for families and adults alike for the last 2+ years. In August, I partnered with Karma Cat, and this month we celebrated National Hispanic Heritage Month. I am community-driven and believe in volunteering. In conclusion, the reason I'm telling you about my lifetime experiences in Milltown is because I want you to know that I'm fully invested in Milltown. My experiences have been positive ones. There are some things that need improvement. As a taxpayer resident, I would like to see lower taxes and utilities, an upgraded AV system for borough meetings, and more charming Main Street. I would like to work with the mayor, council, borough employees, and residents in a nonpartisan way to make improvements and offer new opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, our last candidate is Rachel Freed, a passionate community advocate and energetic organizer. She brings enthusiasm, organization, and heart to her role as office administrator, where she plays a vital role in enhancing the community she serves. She is known affectionately as the cruise director by her colleagues. Her dedication to fostering connection and spirit within Milltown is most evident through her founding of Milloween, the local event celebrating community togetherness and, of course, all things Halloween. Rachel is deeply involved in the civic life of Milltown. She currently serves as the secretary of the Human Relations Committee and as an active member of the Milltown Revitalization Committee, helping to shape a more inclusive and vibrant future for the town. She is also the board co-chair of Diana's Dream, a nonprofit organization that creates employment and socialization opportunities for adults with disabilities. Her commitment to community engagement stretches back years, including her time as a 4-H leader where she led a group focused on hiking and outdoor activities for local youth. Rachel's leadership is rooted in her belief in integrity, inclusiveness, and the power of community. She is running for council to help shape the future of Milltown with thoughtful leadership and community-driven decisions. Whether she's organizing an event, supporting town initiatives, or championing causes close to her heart, Rachel is driven to positively impact the future of Milltown.
Thank you, Professor. Good evening, everyone. Thank you to all who are here tonight, those who are watching at home, to our moderator, and my fellow candidates. My name is Rachel Freed, and I'm running alongside Phil Zambrana. I hope you'll consider voting for me this November. As you may have heard, I'm the founder of Milloween. Milloween is going to be a fun and amazing day here in Milltown. But to me, it's more than just an event. It's a reflection of how I approach problems, how I build partnerships, and how I show up for this community. To me, Milloween represents how I work as a person and how I would serve on council. It started with an idea inspired by another small town here in New Jersey, and I thought, this is perfect for Milltown. And I ran with it. The very first thing I did was find someone who would be just as excited about this as I was, because I believe that nothing great happens alone. I think that we get the best results when we build on each other's strengths, and sometimes when we borrow extension cords and folding tables from our neighbors. We met with almost every business on Main Street and asked, how can you be part of this? Some people jumped in with big ideas, others offered small but meaningful support, but we found that everyone had a way to be included. We found creative ways for everyone to contribute, and that spirit of collaboration is exactly what I want to bring to this role. That's the kind of energy I want to bring to Borough Council, bringing people in, making space for new voices, and helping neighbors feel connected to one another. I believe in partnerships, creative problem solving, and long-term thinking. And more than anything, I want to help strengthen the sense of community that makes Milltown such a special place. I believe that by working together, Milltown can continue to be a place that we are all proud to call home. Because here's the truth, Milltown isn't huge. We don't have endless resources, but we do have smart, passionate, and creative people, and sometimes the most creative communities are the ones that have to make things work on a really small budget. So thank you for your time tonight. Thank you for caring about Milltown. And if you're looking for someone who's thoughtful, creative, community-minded, and knows how to throw a really good party, I'd love your support in November. Thank you.
All right, excellent. Thank you, all 4 of you, for these great opening statements. Now we're going to have the part of the forum where the candidates will address questions. So the first set of questions is going to come from Dawn Miller from TAP Info, local journalist. So Dawn, ask away, and we've shuffled up the order that everybody, all candidates are going to address all 4 of the questions. And I've got an order here, and I'll just call your name and you can go.
What do you feel is the biggest issue currently impacting Milltown?
Debbie, you take this one first.
Okay, I think there may be a couple, but I think the aging of infrastructure over 100 years is something to be concerned about. I also feel that high taxes and utility bills are another concern.
Okay, Phil?
Thank you. So I would say that there's probably a lot of things, but as I have to agree with Debbie, the infrastructure is something that goes back a long way. And it's not just a Milltown problem, it's a New Jersey problem, it's older town problem. So as you get to end of life with some things infrastructure-wise, it's always good that when you can, are able to get a $1 million grant in lead line replacement funds from the state to kind of help that endeavor along in our town like we have this year. That's going to help a lot of residents out and not take money out of their pocketbook.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, Rick. I think our biggest problem is we don't listen to the residents. You know, our residents are complaining about the taxes, complaining about the water, and there seems some disconnect up here where we can't get in touch with the residents and listen to their problems and address their problems. I feel the aging infrastructure is a problem, and we should look at cost savings, which we can do in the water pump station on, what is it, Church Street, I'm sorry, on Church Street, where we could save $110,000 and lower our water bills. But nobody has addressed that problem. I believe we talked to the borough engineer about it, and it got buried, so. Thank you.
Right, very good. Dawn?
Rachel?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Rachel.
No worries. I think that I would agree with everyone on the panel that that infrastructure is definitely an issue. I also think that the high utility bills are very much tied to the infrastructure issue and that both should be addressed. But I will also say that it sounds like we're working towards those changes. So I'd like to see that continue, that movement forward.
What are your spending priorities when it comes to the budget?
All right, Rachel, let's start with you this time.
I think it goes back to the same thing. I think that a lot of these things are tied together. So our aging infrastructure is really going to have to be dealt with before we can tackle so many of the other problems. And I'm really just happy to see that we're starting to tackle and address those.
John?
Thanks, Rick. I think we need to get the best bang for the buck. I always ask questions and see if there's another way to do it. I asked the engineer and the borough attorney if there's a way we can save money. You know, there's no stone I won't turn over to find a way to save money for the town. I've literally had people ask me a question and bring up an issue when I was walking from the parking lot to the borough council meeting, and I brought that up because the resident had a good point. So I'm open to listen to the residents so we can, you know, lower our costs. Some people have good ideas, you know. You put us up here, we need to listen to the residents and put their ideas in place.
Phil?
Can you repeat that question, please?
What are your spending priorities when it comes to the budget?
Well, I would think every year is different, and so it really depends on what you accomplished the previous year. This year in particular, we finally kicked off the battery storage project, which was something that was delayed from last year. If it would have kicked off last year, it might have been operational this year, but since it wasn't kicked off last year and didn't kick off until this year, it won't be operational until next year. The savings from storing electricity and batteries, the goal is to help drive down utility costs to make life a little bit easier for the borough. So that's one way I would attempt to do that.
John, you want to? I'm sorry. I'm screwing this up.
Okay.
Debbie, you have not addressed this one yet.
That's correct. I think that, yes, we should probably invest in infrastructure. And like John said, listen to the community to see if there's ways that maybe they can help us out. And maybe if we had more ratables and a better Main Street district, that can also help us.
Milltown has its signature 4th of July festivities and Milltown Day. Milloween is coming this October. What other community-wide events would you like to see come to the borough?
John, why don't you take this one first?
Wow, that's a tough one. We do so much in Milltown, it's hard to keep up with all the events. I would say that we do have a very good Memorial Day service also. We have a 4th of July service. We don't have a Labor Day. And I really liked, I hope we're going to bring back the Christmas festival we had. We had with a plastic pool over there for ice skating for the kids. So I'm not really sure what we could squeeze in, because we also, you know, tap our businesses for contributions for these activities, and I don't want to squeeze them to the point where, you know, they want to move out. So thank you.
Rachel?
So one of the great things about Milloween happens to be that we found a way to get businesses involved without asking them for a single dime, and we're hoping that brings some money in. So I'm hoping to expand on Milloween. That is definitely one of my priorities. I'd love to see some other smaller, less expensive events that I think that we could pull off. When speaking to the library about Milloween, we talked about doing a drive-in theater. Not a huge lift, but something that could be a lot of fun. I love the idea of events that bring the community together and that bring people into the community so they can see how great we are.
Thank you. Debbie?
Thank you. One of the things that we had, and maybe it was 1 or 2 years, was the Multicultural Day, and that brought a lot of ethnic opportunities into the town, and it was enjoyable, and you got to learn, you got to participate, and that would be one thing that would be nice to come back to town.
And Phil?
So this year, for the first time, I've known it's always been there, but I actually started going regularly to the Metuchen Farmers Market in Metuchen, basically to tap into the folks that already run the market and kind of get their take on what it took. Not an overnight thing. It takes some time. I'd like to see a farmers market of some kind in the borough. Where would it be located? Not really sure. Could be in the borough parking lot, could be on Mill Pond Path, but I'm sure we could find a place and make it and grow it to make sure that people would make this a destination to do that.
What infrastructure investments do you think are critical for Milltown's future?
Phil, why don't you start this one?
I'm going to have to, again, talk about lead line replacement only because it was in 2021 that Governor Murphy signed into law, gave everybody 10 years in New Jersey to replace lead lines or service lines by 2031. 5 years have gone by pretty much, and I didn't see how we were tackling that problem. I was lucky enough to stay in the ear of our local assemblyman, and although I asked for more money, I'm happy with what we got. $1 million is going to go a long way, and the great thing about getting money like that is, if you don't use it all, you can probably roll it over into another project as long as it's water infrastructure related.
Debbie?
Thank you. That is great that Phil did get the grant, but we also need to fix the lines for the water and the sewer, especially when we have future plans to bring in a whole lot more families and buildings. So we have to concentrate on what we need to do for the future to make it work for everybody.
Rachel?
Dawn, would you mind repeating the question one more
Sure.
time?
What infrastructure investments do you think are critical for Milltown's future?
I think we are moving in a good direction with the battery storage project, but I do think we need to think about long-term energy usage, how to make it a little bit greener as well. But those would be my big ones, is what we do about that.
And John?
Thank you, Rick. You know, I was just thinking about that question that before about that, and we really need an amphitheater in town. A lot of residents, I think on the environmental committee, they talked about putting an amphitheater in town so we could have different events there. And I also talked about a dog park up on Washington Avenue. We'd have to get the county to do that, and we could put some open space here where the borough garage used to be. So the most important thing is to serve the people and make their lives better. And by doing an amphitheater, I think that would be probably the biggest thing we could do for the people.
Where do you see Milltown in 5 years, and how do you plan to contribute to that vision?
Okay, Debbie, you want to start this one?
Well, I think in 5 years, we'll have a whole lot more people and a lot more cars and a lot more burden on our infrastructure, and if we don't improve it, we're going to be in trouble. So I think that we have a good chance to do the right thing, working together, working respectively to make it good for everybody.
Phil?
I have to agree with Debbie. In 5 years, we're going to have more people, we're going to have more cars. Ford Avenue resolution is just around the corner. 5 years, there'll probably be units on Ford Avenue. And it's nice to clean up the site, but then you're gonna have the opposite problem of having people there and cars there. But I'd actually like to clean up the site and make it a little more friendly so people could walk around and do things, so.
John?
Well, thanks, Rick. Well, if I was doing this and I wanted to be 5 years, I'd take a value, look at where I want to be in 5 years. And the best way would be, instead of doing a South Side redevelopment program that 2 years is in, we haven't seen any progress at all, we should have done a market evaluation on Main Street and look at the value of the properties, and we also have to have, some advertising for the vacancies there. There's a lot of vacancies on Main Street, but nobody's doing nothing. We also have to have a spokesman out there pushing to get new business in town and find out what's available and what we can give to the people, so we can bring ratables into town and make it, a better town than we have empty stores. It's easy to, hire somebody to try to do it, but you have to take a long-term approach to re-examine what the market value is for those properties, because they'll just sit empty like they have for the last 10 years. Thank you.
Is there a dream project you'd like to undertake in Milltown if
do I get to
elected?
answer?
What would it be?
Do I get to answer?
Oh, you missed.
Did I?
Missed one, sorry.
Sorry.
Rachel, sorry.
So in 5 years, I definitely agree that we're definitely going to see more population, but I'd also like to see a busier and more filled Main Street. I want to also make sure that in 5 years, when that population grows, we still keep that small town feel, and we keep those ties that keep us bound together. We definitely don't want to lose that. In 5 years, I'd also like to see the South Street rehab project completed. I think our residents have contributed greatly to what they see as the vision, and we shouldn't lose sight of what the residents want. Oftentimes, we make quick decisions and not think about what happens in the future. So if you were to sell off a piece of property, you have to have a plan in place so that you're not just and I'd also like to see a business alliance to make sure that we have our businesses working together to help better our community.
Thank you.
Is there a dream project you'd like to undertake in Milltown if elected? What would it be, and how would you try and get it done?
Rachel?
I am currently working on my dream project. So I have to just say that Milloween, I'm sorry, I know I talk about it a lot, but this is a dream project of mine because it combines so many of the things that I am passionate about, including just this town. I love the way we get together as a community and we just are all in for celebrating a holiday. I look at like 4th of July and what an amazing day that is for our community, and I'm hoping to make Milloween kind of the same thing. Other than that, I think I would steal Phil's farmer's market idea. I think that's also a great idea because it just brings people together and it brings people into this town. So any dream project of mine would be based along those lines.
John?
Like I said, I would do an amphitheater, a dog park, some open space over here with the municipal garages. We did a really successful program with the path around Albert Avenue Park. I was extremely impressed how many people use that now. It's just, so we might want to continue with another bike path, even though people use it as a footpath, but that's okay. It's just like Mill Pond Park where they have a bike path, but everybody uses it as a footpath, but that's all right. I'd like to continue some more bike paths in town.
Phil?
So, I don't know if I have one dream project. I like little projects that can actually move forward and get accomplished. Obviously, I'll talk ad nauseum about the South Main Street rehab. Again, it was something that was put together with input by the community and with council members and government officials at that time 2 years ago. We just need to advertise it, send out a proposal for bids and see what comes back. To John's point, a bike path, wouldn't it be great to get another bike path connected to the bike path that's already there that somehow goes into the Schwindeman property? That would be great if we could do that and open that up a little bit more.
Debbie?
Thank you. I have a lot of dreams, but I live on Ford Avenue, so it would be really nice to see the trucks gone, the
Yes.
rubble gone, whatever they're gonna do with it. To have a Main Street that people would really wanna come and invest their money in to help our business owners. And the parks, maybe put sensory activities in the parks for children. And anything else that comes along would be great as well.
I'm good.
Okay.
Public questions?
So, Dawn has asked all of her questions, and now we have a series of questions that were asked by you all in the audience. So in no particular order, I'm gonna read the question, and then we'll continue this, the process of taking turns answering it. So, cost of living in our town is very high, and a common complaint is particularly the water and electricity. Do you have any ideas on how to reduce either of these? And John, let's start with you.
That's a good question, but thanks, Dawn, for asking the questions too. Yeah, well, number one, like I was talking about the pump station over on Church Street, we can replace those and we can bond out for the money so we can reduce our water costs. For electric, we should be using solar panels in some of our municipal buildings. I don't understand this. We have solar panels and we don't use them properly. And that's what I would do to try to get the costs down. I would also try to, when we go back to buy electricity, see if we can get a better price. Hopefully they'll be generating more with new facilities. As you know, New Jersey was an exporter of electricity, and now we're an importer, and that's why our electricity prices are going up. So we have some really challenges to face on the Borough Council. Thank you.
Rachel.
Can you repeat the question one more time?
Oh, okay, so, all right. Cost of living in our town is very high, and the common complaint, particularly the water and electric. Do you have any ideas on how to reduce either of these?
So I think, as we've discussed, the lead line replacement is going to definitely be helpful. I agree with John that we should be looking at some green energy options, in addition to the battery backup plan, which is going to help reduce costs over the long run. So I think we're moving in the right direction for reducing those costs.
Debbie?
Thank you, and thank you, Dawn, for the questions. With the water, perhaps we can meter all the buildings that use water, the houses that have multi-apartments, make sure that they're doing the right thing, and perhaps put a meter in where on New Brunswick pipes in the water so that we are sure that their meter is calibrated and accurate. As far as the electric, perhaps more green ideas like John and Rachel had mentioned, and we could see how that goes.
Okay, very good, and Phil?
Thank you. So we're already moving towards solving some of the electrical issue with the battery project. Again, can't say enough that if it had gotten off the ground last year, it would have been operational this year. Because of the delay, it won't happen until next year. I understand folks that may have some concerns about the water and sewer increases, but you also have to look at the fact that water and sewer actually had not gone up in several years, so it's kind of a catch-up. An ordinance was passed last year that makes sure that when a budget is passed in the following year, it'll make sure that any water and sewer infrastructure costs or any other costs related to water and sewer are covered, instead of not doing things for political reasons moving forward. So we stick to that, we'll be fine.
Okay, thank you. So the next question is, reflecting on your experience over the past 2 years, what one specific improvement would you recommend to enhance council effectiveness and or engagement? So let's start this one with Phil.
That's an interesting question. Again, I did say in my opening statement that last year was not a good year. This year has been much better. Why? Because we actually all talk to each other. We may not all agree. We're not on the same party. But when you reach out to somebody, whether it's text, voicemail, email, or in person to have a conversation so that you see where you're trying to come to or what you're trying to do for the betterment of the residents, that goes a long way. And I don't think anyone that's on council right now can't say that we actually talk, discuss. We may even like each other.
Thank you.
I agree, we would need to work together. We have to realize that we can't, each one of us, get exactly what we want. We have to compromise and come to an agreement. So I guess better communication within the council would help.
Rachel?
A couple of things. I would definitely like to see some audiovisual upgrades so that it would make it a little bit more accessible for our residents, which dovetails with the fact that I'd love to see a little bit of tweaks on our website to also make it a little bit more manageable. I can't think of the right word, but to make it easier for our residents to navigate. That's the word I was looking for. And I'd also like to find ways to engage our residents. I'd love to see more residents coming to town council meetings and being involved. I had talked about a little bit that maybe there could be a way that we could come out to the community and meet everybody just once a month to hear their concerns and make sure that we're addressing what our residents need us to address. And I think that working together, we can probably solve a lot of problems.
All right, John?
I like you, Phil, don't worry about it. I think we took an approach to South Main Street redevelopment, and I don't see it going anywhere. I just see, we're looking at the same pile of rocks 2 years later, now we're going on 3, and we're saying, well, the only 2 properties from what I've known have exchanged ownerships, but the Golden Lion's still closed, and the old Growley lot is still empty. So I would have saved the $30,000 and try to use it more effectively on, lowering water rates or taxes. What I wish we did, I wish we would have took Mike McClellan's idea to change those pumps over there so that we wouldn't have to have that $110,000 in the water surplus, which we could reduce our rates. That we got a $60,000 deficit now. That $110,000 would really have worked out. We could bond for that project, so it won't affect the taxpayers as much. Thank you.
Okay, very good. So the next question is, it's important to have new businesses brought to town. Residents want goods and services available locally for their own use, plus businesses contribute to the tax base. What will you do to draw new businesses to Milltown? And this time, let's start with Debbie.
I think that we would need to communicate to see what we can offer as a town to entice business owners to invest in our town. If we can find out exactly what they're looking for and help them, then we will have a better opportunity to get more ratables, to have more people come to town and spend money, and Main Street would look really nice, cleaned up and charming.
Phil?
I think it's time. I know we've had a Chamber of Commerce in the past, but I think in talking with Rachel and what she's done in a short period of time going around town to try to engage businesses in Milloween, it's pretty obvious that we need to put together a business alliance of some kind and literally reach out to businesses to engage them a little bit more. Not that they're not engaged, but engage them even more. To maybe fill those spots on Main Street and whatever spots commercially on Ford Avenue, ground floor wise, that will bring folks into town.
John?
Oh, could you ask that question again, Richard? I got like 3 different answers here.
Okay, it's important to have new businesses brought to town. Residents want goods and services available locally for their own use, plus businesses contribute to the tax base. What will you do to draw new businesses to Milltown?
Oh, okay, thanks, Rick. I would re-examine the demand charges. That's what's hurting our businesses in town. A lot of them complain about, they said, I could, put my business here, but the electricity price is too high because we have a high demand charge. And I would look at that first to see if we can lower our electricity rates so people will come to town. We have a lot of empty stores and it's not getting any better. So, I mean, we have to ask them, what are they, and most of the businesses will tell you, it's the demand charge in town from the electricity. So we have to look at that. And also our water. Maybe we should, look at American Water, taking a look at their water and see, if they can come in and look at our system and see if we can, make a deal with them. But that's to bring in new businesses. We have to, look at the lowering utility costs.
Okay, thank you. And Rachel?
So I agree with Phil. I think there's definitely a need for some sort of a business alliance so that we can draw some new businesses in. As I've mentioned previously, I think community events are a really great way for businesses to see the opportunities here in Milltown. I think that our battery storage project could also lead to possibly maybe a tiered rate system so that our smaller businesses aren't as affected as demand charges as our larger businesses, and we can make sure to really encourage smaller businesses to come in, set up shop, and make it so that that's viable.
All right, excellent. So the next question is, if elected, what would you do to support and encourage the borough employees? Let's start this one with Rachel.
To support and encourage the borough employees. I love throwing a good party. Let's just be honest. I think we should find ways to appreciate our employees. It doesn't always have to be anything huge. I'm sure we'd all agree that larger salaries would make all of us happy. That's not always feasible, but different ways to have employee appreciation events would definitely go a long way to happier employees.
Oh, thanks, Rick. Well, as a former member of a union, I know that, that it's important. I mean, this year we didn't have a Christmas party, and we got together with the councilman, Dave and Phil, and the rest of Gary and the councilman, and we got a party over at the senior center for the town employees. So I feel proud that we were able to pull this together and pull it off as a team. And that's the way I would treat them better. And, I think that some of them work really hard. A lot of them work really hard, I should say, here. And they give us what we pay them for, so. And especially our police, I think we owe them a lot of gratitude for their service. They work, 24/7. When we're sleeping, they're out, getting these characters in the middle of the night running through our yards, and I think we owe them a lot of support.
Phil?
So I know in the past, that didn't happen this year, but in the past, we had like a half a day kind of event for the folks, and we would go over to the American Legion pavilion, food, drink, games, so forth and so on. I'm always in favor of doing anything to make sure that our borough employees are taken care of, and I'm pretty sure that I try to do whatever I need to do to make sure that they have what they need in order to do their job effectively.
Debbie?
Thank you. I think we need to listen and address the employees' concerns. They're the backbone that keeps the town running. We need to, after investing in training them, we need to make sure that they're compensated with other neighboring areas that are similar to Milltown. And because we want to keep our employees, we want to keep them happy. A happy employee makes a better worker.
All right, thank you. So here's a easy question, or not easy question, straightforward question. How will you keep taxes stable? John, why don't you start this one?
Well, we'd have to reduce spending, and remember that our taxes are less than, 12 or 18% of our budget. The school gets 2/3 of the budget, the county gets another 12%, and we get what's left. So we have a very small area that we can control up on the council. People think that we can control their taxes, the whole bill, but we really can't. We could go to 0, and the Board of Ed could push up to 2%, and we can't do anything about it. So what we would have to do is take a look at, I mean, the battery pack is a good idea to reduce our electricity costs. We could, you know, do some more interlocal agreements, which we've done. We have a lot of interlocal agreements, and Ralph's very good at that. He's doing interlocal agreements. Our police get our gas from East Brunswick. You know, we have to look at things like how can we do it better. I know we finally went back to the county road re-improvement program that was gone for several years. So we have to look at that.
Thank you. Rachel?
So right now, I think our taxes are remaining pretty constant and stable. I'd definitely like to see that continue. I think we do have to look at some creative solutions in working with other towns, where we can share services, where we can share resources to make sure that we keep our budget in line.
Debbie, any thoughts?
Thank you. I think it is a hard fate, but I guess if we work together and maybe do more negotiation, get our Main Street cleaned up and more ratables, perhaps that will help.
Phil?
So I have to agree with John, because again, 61% of the total tax bill is for the school board. We don't have any control over that. And if anyone has, you know, a problem with how high their school taxes are, their meetings usually are twice a month on a Monday, usually on the same day, and you should go and complain to them. Having said that, both my children graduated from Milltown schools and went to Spotswood, so I think they got a quality education, and they're both gainfully employed, thank God. Again, I think there's a little bit of misinformation that when you get your tax bill, it comes from the Borough of Milltown. You send all your money to the Borough of Milltown, that money doesn't stay here. This piece goes to the county, this piece goes to the school, this piece goes to the library. So again, we keep taxes stable.
Okay. Next question. This was a favorite from a year ago. What do you think, do you think should be the plans for the firehouse? Or there's two of them, right? Firehouses. So Phil, why don't you?
Excellent question, Professor. And I'm going to go on a rant again about the South Main Street rehab plan, because the firehouse is the centerpiece of that plan. What would Phil Zambrano like to see there? A brewery, a distillery, anything that would have additional room in the back to have community events, maybe like a farmer's market. But again, that plan was again put together by folks within the town along with government officials. I think it's a good one. We're going to hopefully advertise the hell out of that before the end of the year, get some bids in and move forward.
Debbie?
Thank you. I agree with Phil, something charming and different for Milltown. However, the building would have to, we have to make sure the building is stable to offer it to an investor, as well as parking. You don't want to have an investor invest and then only find out he can't do anything with the location because there's not enough parking spaces or the infrastructure is not sound to do anything with. But if it is sound, it would be nice to have something charming and unique for Milltown, which would bring in people.
Rachel?
I think I agree with Phil and Debbie that I'd love to see something community-based at the firehouse. I'm picturing almost like a Bellworks kind of concept where there's public space that we can use, community gatherings, as well as some retail space or other space that can be used to ensure that it generates some sort of income. I think we also have to make sure that we think long-term about this project. The short-term solution obviously would be just to sell it, but you need to make sure that before you sell it, that there is a plan in place for what we're going to do with it and what that's going to look like, and look 5 years down the road, not just at tomorrow.
John?
Thanks, Rick. It's an easy answer that we get from some people that say, you know, we should restore it, but it's cost prohibitive for both firehouses. Now, the fire company wants a substation over on Cottage Avenue. I don't know how they feel about that. I don't know how, it's never come up before the Borough Council. I think we should address that plan before we sell it. But the one on Main Street, it's really hard. I really hate to tear an old building down, but like Debbie was saying, the line is down the center. If you sell it, the building, there's no parking. So we would really have to talk about maybe moving the historic houses over somewhere else, maybe on Washington Avenue, with something from the county, and then we'd have a bigger piece of property that we could redevelop. That would make more sense than just trying to sell that single piece of property, because it would probably be single-family housing. And there's also a firehouse, a barn in the back of that we also have to address, a garage on the firehouse property.
All right, thank you. This is the last question. How do you think your personal experiences and strengths will help you collaborate effectively with your fellow council members? Let's, Debbie, why don't you start this one?
Well, I can work with everybody and anybody. I have skills from my nursing career. I have library skills with working with a budget, working with the auditor. I'm community driven. I like to volunteer. I love people. I love my town. It's the only town I know. And I'm willing to be helpful and listen and cooperate with everybody.
Bill,
Can you repeat that question one more time, Professor?
how do you think your personal experiences and strengths will help you collaborate effectively with your fellow council members?
Thank you. So I've been doing this now for a while, and I've been involved in community service for over 10 years. One of the nice things about being a part of different organizations and town committees, whether it's planning board, environmental, 4th of July, you name it, is you get to know a lot of people. And a lot of these people end up being on committees, and they end up actually running for council, and then you actually end up serving on council with them. So you already have a relationship with a lot of folks. And again, my focus is always, moving forward, listen to the other person. Let's have a debate. Let's not get angry about it. And then let's come to a conclusion. It also helps that as I get older, I'm a little bit more amiable. And so it makes it a lot easier to say, let's get back and talk about that again.
Okay. And John?
Thanks, Rick. You have to have a thick skin to be up here. And you have to realize you're not going to win every vote, but you have to fight for the people, and you have to fight for the organizations and the children town. And we have a program right now that's supposed to be on the agenda about the Boy Scouts doing an improvement project outside the police station entrance. They're going to renovate it. And that has not come up yet. And, this is for the kids. We need to compromise and say, hey, this is for the children of the town. Let's do what's in the best interest of their interest, not our personal preferences. So that's what I would say. I could get along with anybody. I've worked up here with different councils. I worked up here with Trina. And, sometimes we agree and sometimes we don't agree. But I just don't hold grudges and then go on to the next item. So that's me. Okay, Russ, I got the 10.
And Rachel?
So I love this town. I love living here, and I approach everybody as they have the exact same thought as me. I love living here. What can we do together? I love bringing different groups of people together. I love finding commonality with everybody. As you heard in my intro, they call me the cruise director because I am very prone to being like, wait, do you know this person? Because I think you two would do very well together. And I think that's a really big strength that I bring to council, is finding common ground with almost anybody.
All right, thank you very much, all of you. So now, each candidate is going to have 3 minutes, I think, to make a closing statement. We're going to go in the opposite order that we went with the opening statement, so that means, Rachel, you're up again.
We'll take a 5-minute break, sir. We're taking a 5-minute break. What do you do?
Oh, okay, you're right, sorry.
Sorry.
Everybody gets a break.
Okay, thank you. Good on board.
This is right home, so
Let him know when to
Okay,
drive to East Windsor.
thank you, everyone. Now it is time for the concluding statements from each of our candidates. We're going to go in the opposite order that we went for the opening statement, so that means Rachel Freed, you start.
Thank you all again for your time tonight. Thank you to Russ, the Channel 15 committee, Dawn from Tap Into, Professor Law. A special shout out to my son for being here tonight. My cheering section, both online and here, that has been enormously helpful to have your support. This campaign has never been about me. It's been about us, our shared values, our shared challenges, and our shared future. As I've said, I can't do this alone, so thank you to Phil for inspiring me with his dedication and commitment to this town. I'm not here to make empty promises. What I can offer you is a commitment to work hard, to listen, to lead with integrity, and to never forget who I serve, you. Whether it's a longstanding issue or a new idea, I might not always have the right answer right away. One thing you may have heard me say a lot when I talk to you around town is, I don't know, but I'm excited to find out the answer. I'm never going to shy away from trying to dig in, to ask questions, and to work to figure it out with all of you. I'm not promising that I can fix everything overnight. I'm running for Borough Council, not superhero. But I am running to be your voice, your neighbor, and hopefully the person in the room who says, wait, does this actually make sense? And sometimes politics can feel dramatic, maybe a lot dramatic, but it doesn't have to be that way. There's a phrase that all politics is local. Let's focus more on the local and less on the politics. Let's all show up, let's all do the work, and let's have a little fun along the way. If you elect me, I commit to listening to residents and business owners, listening to people with ideas and people with complaints. My door will always be open, even if we don't agree. Again, thank you for showing up, for caring, and for being part of this slightly chaotic and totally exciting adventure. And a big shout out to Phil, my brilliant running mate, who has shared his wisdom, his insight, stress, and strategy with me. If you believe in moving Milltown forward together, vote for me and Phil by early voting, mail-in voting, or on election day in November. We'd be honored to have your support. Milloween is only one example of the awesome things we can do together as a community. Let's build on that together. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Debbie Miller.
Thank you. I want to take some time to thank the moderator, Professor Richard Lau, Russ Einbeiner, and the Cable TV Committee, local reporter Dawn Miller, and the audience both here and at home. I'm not a politician, but I'm a community people type person. I believe I can be an asset to the council by bringing my professional, community, and personal experiences. I am willing to listen, help, and work with all. I learned to be resourceful, look for hidden problems, and to be compassionate. I took the nurse's oath to help all, and I follow that oath in my everyday life. Working at the library, I help the director stay on budget and prepare for audits, work with my coworkers to offer different types of programs, and help maintain a warm, comfortable environment. Volunteering within the community has offered me many opportunities, meeting new people, and has shown me we can do great things when we work together. While I have things to learn, I am up for the challenge. My vision for Milltown's future is to see more charming business district on Main Street by offering support to the businesses. This in turn will increase ratables. Looking for grants to improve infrastructure and not burden the taxpayers. Upgrading the AV system for real-time communication. Supporting our borough workers and volunteers. And of course, seeing the progress of Ford Avenue. Though I cannot make promises, when we work together, respect each other, we can make great things happen. Let's no longer accept status quo. In closing, I want to wish my running mate John Collins and the opposing candidates, Phil Sembrano and Rachel Freed, the best of luck. Whether you are a longtime resident or newer to the town, voting by mail, early in-person voting, or voting on election day, I would appreciate you considering voting for me. Thank you, and let's shape Milltown's future together.
Thank you. Phil Sembrano.
Thank you, Professor. So first of all, I'd like to thank Russ Einbinder and the Cable TV Committee for, as always, organizing and presenting tonight's forum. You do a great job. Keep it up. I'd like to thank our moderator, Professor Wall, and Dawn Miller from Tap Into for taking the time to be here tonight. As I'm sure John and Debbie have been doing, Rachel and I have been walking around town, knocking on doors, meeting residents to share our goals for moving Milltown forward. We're also asking folks at the same time, providing assistance, how they're doing, and addressing any concerns that they have. Recycling bin came up a lot. That was an interesting one. We'll continue to reach out and speak to as many residents as we can before Election Day. And so I've said this before, like I run around town, whether I'm in the post office or whether I'm in a local business, and I run into a resident and they ask me from time to time, hey Phil, how's the politics thing going? And I always give the same answer, and the answer is always, I don't like politics, and all I really want to do is get things done, keep moving forward, and give back to my community. Because the only party that I really care about is the Milltown party. And in my opinion, everyone is invited to the Milltown party. In my opening statement, I mentioned that I believe that I was elected because residents thought that I could get things done. Last year was not a great year, but this year, along with my fellow council members, John Collins being one of them, set the borough back on a good path forward. We kept property taxes stable. We presented and adopted a budget by April 30th, not by June 30th. And we included a capital budget that provided funds for new equipment and vehicles for the DPW departments. We finally started the water meter replacement project after there wasn't any movement last year at all. We moved forward the battery storage project, which was delayed last year. We requested and we received, again, $1 million in lead line replacement from the state for the borough residents as needed. At the next council meeting, we'll probably have the OPIU agreement. We negotiated and adopted it, not 2 years later, as in previous years. And we're going to negotiate and adopt a new PBA contract by the end of this year. So, in my opinion, we've arrived at a crossroads. The Ford Avenue situation has been resolved. For any folks that know what's going on with Ford Avenue, October 6th is a big day. We'll know on October 6th what the timeline is going to be for the Ford Avenue redevelopment plan moving forward. And before the end of this year, if not sooner, my goal is to make a request for a proposal to be sent out for bids to anyone who wants to develop the old Main Street Firehouse. Let's send out the information, let's see what we get back, and let's move forward. I'm confident that this can be accomplished in a way that keeps Milltown's history intact and moving forward. And in closing, let me just say this. If you trust what Councilman Zambrana has done over the last 5 years, and you have faith in the energy and enthusiasm that Rachel Freed will bring to the council, then I ask you to vote for us on November 4th. Have a great night.
Thank you. And John Collins.
Thanks, Rick. I'd like to thank Russ, Dawn, Rick, my opponents, Rachel, Phil, Debbie, for participating in the forum tonight. It's not so easy to sit up here, but you get used to it. I'd also like to thank our police department for the excellent job they do keeping us safe in town. Without them, you know, everybody wants to come to Milltown. I have people from all over the state say, oh yeah, I want to move to Milltown, I want to move to Milltown, and they all come here, usually from the surrounding towns. But what you need up here is someone to listen to the residents and someone who's going to fight for their cause, and also to get along. Like I say, I don't agree with Bill and Eve sometimes, but we all get along. And who's that lady? Oh, that. So, you know, you have to stand up for the right thing. Sometimes you're going to be, 5-1. Sometimes it's going to be 3-3. We have to just do the right thing, and be aware that we have to, try to lower utility costs, try to lower taxes, and also to help the residents out. you know, it's a thing we're here to do. We work for the residents. You're our bosses. And we have to, you know, people have to know that we work for them, and that the borough employees in turn work for the council, not the opposite way around. And we have to stand up for the council. And I know we stood up in the last meeting, we fought for our rights to speak after during council comments, and, you know, it came down to a close vote, but we had to do the right thing because we have to address the residents' concerns. When they come up and speak, we want to address them. We don't want to just say, well, go home and, you know, maybe we'll call you. We want to do it right now, and we want to get the problem solved. That's what you're hiring up here, is a problem solver. You want somebody to solve the borough's problems. We try to look at everything we can to, you know, different opinions to get the right answers, and sometimes they're not right, and sometimes they are right. But we try our best, and that's what we do. And I'd just like to say, don't forget to vote for myself and Debbie Miller and John Collins on November 4th, and I thank you to the audience for participating.
Thank you all, one and all, for being here tonight. Thank these 4 great candidates. I feel sorry for those of you in Milltown that you can only vote for 2 of them. I study democracy, and democracy doesn't work without people like you all willing to serve as candidates and run for election and you know, serve as council members if you get elected. And thank all of you out there in the audience who came out on a crummy, rainy night to be here and hear about what the candidates are saying, and that's a vital part of democracy as well. And thank also people who couldn't get here tonight but will be watching this sometime in the next few weeks on YouTube or on Channel 15. And thank Russ for being the chief organizer of this. How about a hand for all of us?
You guys get that? Everybody stay there. If you want to take a picture, all of you should be going. I guess.
Thank you. Good luck. You want to get up here for a picture?
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you.